Hello, I'm Dave Peach, and this is the Crawfordsville Peachcast, sponsored by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892. See them in person or at tricountybank.net. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. Crawfordsville Peachcast. I'm Dave Peach, joined by Dave Meyer. Dave, how are you?
I am fantastic, Dave. I am enjoying the idea of warmer weather, and it's a great time to be a basketball fan. So, hello, Dave.
It is March when we're taping this on March the 12th, 2025, talking a little college basketball. Let's thank our sponsors, BK Home Improvement, Zon's Flooring and Design Center, Central Indiana Rubber, CIR, Power for You, 123. Hello, Todd. And a lot of people don't know maybe why we do that twice per every episode.
Well, maybe we should tell them about Todd, Dave.
Well, we know that at least we have one listener.
We have Todd.
Yeah.
We love Todd, Dave.
Yeah, we do. Well, and he is I think he's our biggest fan. He's a sponsor, and I think he is worthy of being mentioned twice in the Crawfordsville Peachcast.
It's our attempt at harmony and song in his direction.
Okay, let's talk a little. This is, Curtis calls it mixed bag.
Okay.
But it's really going to focus on college basketball, and we're going to kind of go big picture here.
Okay.
My thought on college basketball.
Okay.
Is it 100% all about the money now, or 99.2% all about the money now?
My AI thing was talking, Dave. To interrupt your thing, okay.
That's all I hear about is the money. I mean, there's a settlement coming up, $2.8 billion, and we talk about name, image, and likeness, and this guy's playing at Peoria State, and next year he's going to make $500,000 at Grand Valdosta University or whatever. And I hear these stories over and over again, and all I hear is money.
Yeah, it is. It's not a little bit about money. I don't think it's 100% about money, but it's a lot about money. I can say here's what was shared with me by one Division I coach, Dave. Basically, the players, if their nil money does not come in exactly when it's supposed to, they proceed to let every assistant and the head coach know. So there is a beholdenness to that payday aspect, and it changes the dynamics between players and coaches, right? So the model for coaching college basketball has evolved, will continue to evolve.
We look at Rutgers. Yes. I have trouble pronouncing that. Yeah.
Rutgers.
That's pretty bad. When you can't even say pronouncing.
It's okay, Dave.
Rutgers.
They have the rack. That's what I know. The Rutgers Athletic Center.
We have to say things. They've got two maybe lottery picks, the Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. They got two lottery picks. Somebody was getting on one of the social media channels that I watch, and they said, without nil, Rutgers would never get these guys. They go somewhere else.
Possibly. I mean, I guess, but part of me is like, okay, they went to Rutgers. They're getting well compensated, but they're not winning.
No, they're 14 and 16, David.
So part of me is like, were they, again, just in the same way that we see first, quarterbacks drafted in the first 5 rounds, first 5 picks in the NFL that are busts. Some of these well-compensated nil college basketball players are not as good as maybe what was perceived.
Now, are the schools, and I work for a Division I university in a small capacity, and I've been doing the same thing for 37 years, and I go because of the enjoyment. I love it, being part of the game. That's my kick, the adrenaline rush of talking and having some pressure, and it's fun. I don't golf, so
okay,
I go there, and it's like free golf at Augusta. Really, when you're working Hinkle
and
Fieldhouse,
you've got an incredible seat, and you are involved in the action.
So we move on, and I don't sit around worrying about how much I get and when they're going to send a check or whatever. It's as long as I have a parking pass, I'm good. But you talk about cash, and you wonder now, are the schools more interested in making money off the players, or are they interested in winning? Because as far as having an identity, I think the schools, it's kind of hard, particularly at some of these, like I would call these achieving mid majors, whatever, the Wichita States, the Butlers, the Loyola in Chicago. I think they're kind of caught. It's a little tough for them because they need an identity, but that identity is now going up against the bigger schools with the cash. So are the schools more interested in winning or making money?
Well, they don't want to lose money because they're now in a high stakes game. So I think winning is still the number one priority, because that does drive all, that drives the sales success better than anything else. I do believe, though, there's a different middle ground. In other words, there are schools that we know of that are more attractive to go to based on location, based on reputation, things like that. I mean, so who's to say, if I'm not Pepperdine, why could Pepperdine, like a school that basically is in Malibu, okay? What if they had some big alum that just said, okay, we're going to do what Phil Knight did for Oregon, for Pepperdine? I would believe that Pepperdine would become a power.
Wow, and move up, really?
Because it's that exists. I mean, if you're, for some of these, for the middle to lower echelon nil earners, they're going to still follow the same processes. But if you're looking at it like, okay, I want to earn great money for a year or two before I go to the pros, and it's really about showcasing me, not necessarily me contributing to an NCAA championship, because I don't even think I'm staying 4 years. So that's where the dynamics in the agency that coaches have over players is not, if at one time it was 90%, 10%, the athlete, the Michael Jordans of the world are going to have more, but most athletes probably had 10 to 20%, and the coach owns the rest. Now it's probably more 50-50.
Yeah, and that 10 to 20 was not allowed, right?
No. I mean, you basically knew you had it, but if you were going to use it, there would be consequences.
Okay, now, my question: if it's not all about the money, then what else is it? You're talking about winning. You're talking about raising the profile of the university, money for facilities in order to get better athletes, and more money. So the school needs money to pay the players.
Yes.
So I guess I'm trying to think where is, if it's not about the money, if it's not 100% about the money, then what else is it?
Well, about? I mean, it's all going to, money is the answer to every part of this, because the other thing that's going to happen, and it's happened, but it's going to happen more and more, is how plush can we make our facilities in our, every bit of the experience that our athletes get, because that's where they're competing now. We can't, Butler University can't offer the same nil package that IU or Michigan State, probably, on most, larger either SEC or Big Ten schools can offer. But maybe the way that Butler goes about that is in a different way. How do we attract in a way that, if you're here, you're in the most comfortable setting, because you're not You're not near mountains. You're not near an ocean. You're not whatever that is. It's schools are going to need to compete in different ways to attract talent, and it's the skill set that's going to involve is just it's continuing to get there, and it's amazing. You look at young and old coaches that are doing this well, right? Patino's doing this well right now. How is that happening? So it's not just the old coaches are going to get pushed out because they're from a different era. It's how do you adapt and attract and also create some kind of culture that wants to retain, right? That's the biggest thing. How do you, if you're going to put together a team and truly coach it and have it grow into as good a contender as you can have, you now have to worry about keeping every one of those players. Dan Hurley said on 60 Minutes the other night, Dave, basically he feels like half of his team or more is always thinking about where they're going to be next.
Yeah, but where are they going to go when they're at Connecticut? That's pretty, 2 national championships in a row. They're still the defending national champions. So, but again, David, if it's if it's not about the money at the university level, what else is there? You're talking about making the NCAA tournament and all that is 30% of the deal. But I mean, to me, it's all about it. It's all about cash in the drawer.
Every road leads to.
I am trying to be okay. Here's what I'm
trying to find a way.
Here's what I'm begging you, David. I'm begging you.
Okay.
Tell me what else is there besides cash in the drawer as far as college sports now?
I'll tell you the biggest thing are college basketball fans. I do believe yes, Dave, there are basketball fans that appreciate all levels of basketball. But I do believe in particular there are college basketball fans that root for a team, go to games, some travel, but you live and die this time of the year on how you're going to do in your conference tournament. Do you have a shot at all? If you don't, will you go to the NIT? All those things are real. So I think the college basketball fans
that could be a different kind of question. Will you go to the NIT if you're invited to the NIT?
If you're invited,
sometimes they don't go. But anyway, back to you, Dave.
So I do believe that's what's kept the glue here going, because the NCAA as an institution, as a governing body, is no longer a powerful institution and governing body. So what's cool about that is that the magic of the tournament so far, Dave, doesn't seem to have been totally soaked in the money grab.
It's still out there. It's still
yes,
that
it's a part
underdog.
of.
And in fact, perhaps while the players are playing, they will be darlings, and then if they have eligibility left, they'll be going somewhere else to play the following year.
I mean, in
many cases,
the world, and in the world of being, if you're a young player with the opportunity to play college basketball, boy, it's a great time, right? It is a great time for the player. If you can play and you can demonstrate that, you're going to get a shot somewhere. Because if you're stuck on the bench now, you're no longer going to be stuck on the bench. You can use your freedom. So all that, I applaud that. I don't want to lose the magic. I do believe that the season, the day in, day out college basketball season has changed and will never go back. It started many moons ago with how big the conference tournament's gotten, and which replaced really the value of the games in the regular season for a lot of teams. But it's, again, those were all going because the tournaments were exciting and the tournaments were revenue generating. And everything has continued to evolve in that direction. So We'll see.
I think, like you said, the NCAA tournament is unspoiled for now, and I think it'll be okay. I think I just all I know is that when I listen, watch, it's all about the money. It's all about the money right now, but still, like you said, the fans are watching and the fans are excited, and you still have that thrill. It's just not quite the same, but that's where we are right now as far as the cash. Now, college basketball, also has been impacted or was impacted by the pandemic. You remember?
Yes.
Remember that? That was 5 years ago.
The big disruptor.
Now, here is a fun fact to know and tell about college basketball. The player in men's college basketball who has played the most ever games, at least, I guess, at the end of last year, his name is Jordan Bohannon.
Okay.
He played in 179 games.
Wow.
Now, what is incredible about Jordan Bohannon, you would think that, okay, he played at several schools, right?
Sure.
He played at one school, Iowa, and rang
Wow.
up 179 games. Jake Wolf played at Lipscomb, Morehead State, and Indiana State, 173 games. He's number 2. I bet you did not know that Jake Wolf was number 2 in college basketball games played ever.
Dave, I hope all his friends that are listening give him a shout out.
Now, at number 3, now this guy, I love it. He played at Illinois, DePaul, Iowa State, and Kansas.
Wow.
Jalen Coleman Lands, 172 games.
That guy knows how to pack his stuff and move.
Now, we've got one more guy that we know that has played at 4 schools because he played at Butler, Khalif Battle.
Okay.
He started his career in 2019. He's still playing now in 2025.
Wow.
Butler, Temple, Arkansas, and Gonzaga.
Wow. Well, kind of a bounce around. Gonzaga's a good end. How's he doing out there?
He's doing fine. Yeah, he's kind of like a highlight. He's a highlight reel guy.
Okay.
I mean, he's got some spectacular dunks. So
I imagine his eligibility's about up.
I think this is it. I don't.
Okay.
I think this could be it. But again, great for the players to be making some cash. And here's my final thought as far as college basketball goes. I don't mind. I really don't mind it being all about the money. Mm-hmm. If you admit that it's all about the money.
Yeah, no.
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But
we sold that student athlete thing for a very long time, and
just own it. Own it.
Yeah,
I'm good with it. I'm good with it.
Really. I mean, honestly, in the same way that, though I don't approve of ex-athletes or even current athletes pushing gambling, but the gambling stuff.
Don't even get me started on the gambling.
Yeah. But I mean, they're transparent, Dave. I give them credit there. They're transparent.
Oh my. And now they're not quite. We haven't got to the point where we're quoting mid-game odds during college games, are we? I mean,
please God.
Is that a little bit bristly? Is that not quite there yet? We do it in pros. We do it in the pros.
I'm still a little uncomfortable when they talk about the odds, the play-by-play and color people. That's.
Oh my, and I think that's it for college basketball. We look forward to the tournament. What's your an unobvious tournament moment for you? I mean, we all talk about Michael Jordan's shot or Bryce Drew or something like that. But what's a kind of an unobvious, maybe something you think about in the NCAA tournament and that you
there's something about that first 2 days. That's, to me, that's the best part of the tournament is those first 2 days. There's so many games, and you're tracking back and forth, and the one you're not watching ends up being the one that somebody throws the ball in at the last second. So there's just something. Those first 2 days, there's an energy and an excitement. There's always upsets. There's generally a David and Goliath upset, that is, some of those lately in the last few years have got a little bit of a run. So that's exciting. So that to me, it's really that before the second weekend, because then it feels like to me things settle in. You've got a lot of the usual suspects, a few, kind of good feature story teams, and then we kind of grind it out. But to me, that's just that it's the magic, the collective magic that has somehow been consistent in different ways for as long as I can remember.
And many times, we kind of get sucked in. They show the Bryce Drew.
Yeah.
They show Michael Jordan. And you think
they show Christian Laettner.
Christian Laettner. Yeah. You think every game is like that. It's not.
No.
There's a lot of 78 to 59 games in the NCAA tournament, but you feel it's kind of like a brawl in the stands. Right. They show one brawl in the stands at a high school game. And they show it over and over and over and over again. And by the time you go to the high school game on Friday, you're worried that there's going to be a fight.
It could happen.
Okay, there's like 8 million high school games, and there's like one brawl in the stands, but they keep showing it.
And
you think, oh my goodness, I better lift weights at the gym because there's probably going to be a brawl in the stands on Friday when I get there.
Fisticuffs. Yeah. It's going to happen.
So you're not going to see Bryce Drew when you go to an NCAA tournament game. I hate to burst your bubble. I mean, there might be a decent game. There might be a buzzer beater and all that stuff, but you kind of you are drawn in because of those moments. And every time really you walk into an arena, you think about the moment that arena is known for, or that team is known for. Whenever Valparaiso takes the floor, they always think about Bryce Drew.
Yeah.
IU thinks about Keith Smart. All that. Butler thinks about Gordon Hayward's shot that almost made it. All that good stuff. But that makes it fun.
It is.
You think about it. You think about it all the time. I mean, you eat out at that one restaurant and you just think about it all year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, we went to X restaurant. It was great.
No, we all have our memories in college. You recall myself and three of our compadres, you were not among them, but after IU beat North Carolina in early '84 and was going on to face Virginia, we procured some tickets, and myself and three others drove late and long to Atlanta, as excited as young people can be, Dave, only to watch IU fall to Virginia and Othell Wilson and crush our hopes. I don't know how we were going to get to Seattle, Dave, but that was the next deal.
Okay, now let me go there. You're going back to 1984?
1984.
1984. Now, incredible victory over North Carolina, and our guy Dan Dockich, right?
Yeah, Dan Dockich supposedly, gets told he's going to guard Jordan before the game, throws up.
Yeah, so he's guarding Michael Jordan, and he effectively guarded Michael Jordan to the point that IU won the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good, I think Alford had a really good game. I think that was, Uwe Blob, I must have played well kind of thing. But that was an overachieving IU team that had a rough kind of season and came together and beat a team that had not only Michael Jordan, but it also had Sam Perkins. And I can't recall all the players, but it was a very good, I think, number one ranked North Carolina team.
Definitely. So now in the game against Virginia, there was a steal. Who was the player for IU that had the ball stolen in a key moment, and it was like half of the front page on the Indianapolis Star the following day?
I see that in my head, and I've blocked it out. It was one of the younger guards, I want to say. But yeah, no, that game was like, it started out like, we're not in a good space. And then we hung in there to keep the thing tight, or the appearance. And then it was just, that steal. And it was a long slog back, Dave.
I can imagine. But it was, one of those things that you'll always remember. In '84, that victory over North
that.
Carolina. Really, I mean, Dan Dakich has been riding that for 40 years now,
talking
41
about that
years.
Forever. 3 years later from that, IU wins, and myself and other Butler compadres jump in vehicles and drive to Bloomington and just kind of run around with the town for a few hours. I don't recall much of what happened, Dave, but we did that and then got home.
I was with you on that one, but
yes.
you probably forgot. But that was a different. Can you imagine us celebrating an IU national championship? Things have changed over the years.
Things have changed, Dave, because I think if we check, that was the last one.
Yeah. College basketball changing, but still one of the great sports in the USA. We're back with more on the Crawfordsville Peachcast after this.
Bazing. Wow, that's fun to say. Bazing is Tri-County Bank's Smart Rewards checking account. With Bazing, you have cell phone protection, ID theft protection, roadside assistance, discounts at area businesses, and more. This is Bria French. Contact me or any of our great employees to begin your entry into Bazing banking. Terms and conditions may apply. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Crawfordsville Peachcast, a quick segment 2, because we have to have a segment 3. Dave, let's get some of your thoughts as you make your way, really, not only throughout North America. You're a North America traveler, man.
I have, Dave. This past week, I was in Arizona for some work and had the opportunity to see some spring training baseball. Saw the Cincinnati Reds and the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. And not just that, we got to see the stars play. Got to see Shohei, got to see Freddie and Mookie and Ellie, and people were hitting home runs and doubles and running the bases, and it was cool. It was spring training cool. So that was the first part of the week. And then, Dave, I was in Toronto doing some work, and it was I saw no baseball, and it was very cold. There was snow on the ground.
You were also in Mexico recently.
Yes, that's true. Down there for work meetings in Querétaro.
Are you running from the law? Is that what's
Dave,
going on?
Indiana wants me. Lord, I can't go back there. No, just working for an actual global company that sends me lots of different places working with doctors. But Querétaro, Mexico, a beautiful place, a cultural heritage site in the world. Incredible churches.
Querétaro?
Querétaro. Querétaro. I believe. And it's got a little accent mark in there. But it's a few hours from Mexico City. And kind of a very much there's a lot of international corporations that have presence there. So it's part of my teammates are in that area. And so it was interesting. And most of all, it was warm, Dave. It was nice.
And you were in Boston.
And I was in Boston, which was very cold there. Didn't see anything. Walked around an area where supposedly Washington first addressed his Continental troops. So Boston's always got a little bit of history, and that's cool. So experienced the cold and enjoyed a little history. And
when you were in Goodyear, you saw Smokey Bear. That's good. When you were in Goodyear, Arizona, watching that game, Smokey Bear was there.
Smokey Bear was like, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen Smokey in person. This may be the first time. Smokey Bear's at the game, throws out the first pitch. Now, I was a little disappointed because he basically took about 4 steps in front of the mound. But, his arm's not that long. So it wasn't a great throw, but he was there waving. And he did say, I think they had a pre-recorded voice on the Smokey.
You were also in Chicago.
I was. And
this is like within 4 weeks.
Well, it is. Some of these are just getting there along the way. But I go through all these places, Dave, so I can text you photos from these places. That's pretty much how it works.
You had a group shot one time. with some young people. It looked like Entourage 2. You were the agent, right? You were the
I was the old guy.
Pevin?
Yeah, I made everybody wear sunglasses.
What was that guy's
so
name?
I looked younger. Yeah, no, some of those. That was one of those from Mexico, and that is. I'm basically I'm old enough to be a dad of everyone else that's on my team. So I am definitely the old guy.
Dave's Travels. We are back. We're going to talk. I want to break it down a little bit. Talk to Dave and see what he thinks about Gene Hackman and what happened there.
Yes,
That's segment 3 on the Crawfordsville Peachcast next. Central Indiana Rubber Products provides the power for you. Central Indiana Rubber Products, or CIR, keeps farm equipment and local manufacturing processes running with gaskets, belts, seals, and O-rings, among a variety of other products and services. Employee-owned and always customer-focused. Central Indiana Rubber Products, 989 West, 83 North, Crawfordsville, and at indianarubber.com. Central Indiana Rubber Products, or CIR, power for you. Dave Peach here with Brandon Kappas from BK Home Improvement. And Brandon, you have an exciting announcement.
Yes, Dave, thank you. We're excited to announce Zahn's Floor Covering is now Zahn's Flooring and Design Center, acquired by BK Home Improvement.
I understand Bob Zahn will be staying to help.
We are excited to have that, and absolutely, Zahn's Flooring and Design Center is happy to have Bob Zahn still involved in that same local presence they're used to dealing with.
There has been a little confusion. BK Home Improvement is not affiliated with BK Painting or BK Property Management. You are located at your headquarters in Lebanon, Indiana.
Yes, we are excited to expand both brand names inside of both markets for Lebanon and Crawfordsville. Please come visit our showroom at 310 North Green Street, as we will consistently be redesigning and offering new, innovative products and technologies.
And you are still going to say,
Zahn's Flooring and Design Center. We are everywhere you walk.
Crawfordsville Peachcast, segment 3, and the death of Gene Hackman has brought about an appreciation for the movie Hoosiers here in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of other folks talk about other movies here in Indiana. I mean, we saw people going back to Channel 6 reports from New Richmond here in Montgomery County, which was Hickory.
Sure.
People showing clips of some of the actors. It brought it all back, despite the fact that Gene Hackman died at 95. Was it 94, 95?
Yeah, I think 95.
And he had been really out of the movie picture world since 04.
Yeah, Welcome to Mooseport, Dave, was his last movie with Ray Romano. So, Gene Hackman, that was...
and I'm sure people called up Ray Romano, like the Rich Eisens and the Dan Patrick.
Sure.
To talk about... There were so many people that talked about working with Gene Hackman, or the right. Clips that they showed, like Kevin Costner talking about working with Gene Hackman and all these. So it just brought back this whole Gene Hackman love affair. But go back. I hate to interrupt.
No, Dave. First of all, like Gene Hackman was like one of those guys. I still recall. I'm dropping names, Dave, but I worked with Gregory Hines on a project many moons ago. Obviously, long since deceased, but an incredible actor, dancer, performer. And I don't know why we got on the subject, but Gene Hackman was his idol as far as a actor. And he just basically said, I watch everything he does. And you heard a lot of actors talking about.
Now, I don't know. I'm going to challenge him there real quick. Did he watch his movie with Dan Aykroyd? Everything that he did? Everything that he did. Now, Gene Hackman made a lot of movies.
He made a lot of movies.
Go ahead. Back to you. He watched everything he did.
He wasn't always sure. I mean, if you talk to the people that made Hoosiers with him, he was unhappy most of the time. I mean, he took that. Jack Nicholson wanted that part. Jack Nicholson elevated Hoosiers to the point that they were going to get it made, and then Nicholson had a conflict, couldn't make the movie. Gene Hackman took the job. But then once he took the job and showed up in Indiana, he did not think he had made a wise choice. So it wasn't until he saw a cut of the movie that he realized it was going to be good. So Gene wasn't always maybe a great judge of material. But Dave.
Go back to the Gregory Hines. I interrupted you on Gregory Hines. I'm sorry.
I think it's just you hear all these actors. He was the guy that I heard it tell me to my face, so it stuck to me. But then you hear all these actors just in unbelievable reverence for Gene Hackman. I mean, I think I've seen The French Connection once, and it was cool and all that. And I'm sure a lot of people have gone back and watched it, but I was not, for me, I didn't like, there's not a ton. Mississippi Burning is a movie that comes to mind as a pretty intense Gene Hackman role. He was incredible in The Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood's movie that I think it won the Best Picture. But I don't, in my mind, there's not like 50 Gene Hackman movies that pop up. I think of, like you, I think he was in a lot of stuff. So, the reason we're talking about him now is the very weird way that his wife, and their dog died. So it's a funky thing, this Gene revival.
Yes. Well, here her name is Betsy Arakawa.
Yes, Betsy.
And it bugs me that when people don't give the name of the person.
Yes.
Gene Hackman and his wife. Well, she's got a name. It's Betsy Arakawa. And here's the story. At least I think people have heard this. For whatever reason, she died. They say she died of hantavirus. Is that how you say that?
Hantavirus. Yes.
Hantavirus.
It's basically a fairly rare, but happens in the southwest part of the United States from rodents and deer, and yeah.
And that, of course, makes the people take a jump. Like, well, what kind of conditions were present at this home that you would have that happen?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of like anything else, you're exposed to, don't wash your hands, touch your face, and ball game, it starts.
And they say she was dead for a week, and Gene was still, I guess, he was obviously just kind of running around the house. It's kind of one of those things. It was a reversal because I'm sure that his family felt good that she was much younger and the caretaker of Gene, and they figured that Gene would pass and she would be there for Gene, and it reversed, and nobody checked for a few days. They say that she died February 18th. Maybe they were discovered February 26th. The timeline.
Well, they were saying
sorry, his wife died on the 11th. And they say Gene died on the 18th, and they were discovered on February 26th.
Yeah, that's a chunk of time. When they explained it all, I think at the press conference, the coroner did a good job, because it was like, how did this happen? And you're kind of like, okay, the dog had had a procedure, so the dog was in a crate. Okay, so the dog was screwed. The dog was screwed. He obviously advanced state of Alzheimer's. 11th, 18th, discovered on the 26th. Dave, that place had to smell really bad.
And nobody, it is kind of amazing that no one questioned Betsy Arakawa. I mean, she died February 11th. They were discovered on the 26th. For 15 days, nobody said, I haven't got a text from Betsy. What's going on?
Yeah, that seems like a long. And I mean, people
again. It just seems. If you didn't hear, I don't know. I guess okay. It's a man and a wife, and I'm trying to think. Like, if you didn't get a text from me for 15 days, would you? I mean, at some point, I'm trying to think.
Checked.
I'm trying to think who would be the person that would say, "Hey, I haven't got a text from Betsy in a long time." But I guess at this point, they're living their life. They've got their money. They've got provisions. I guess
apparently they weren't. Yeah, a lot of people interacting with them.
I mean, it seemed to me like somebody would have contacted her about something.
I would think,
and think like, well, what's going on? And call her, no answer. Call her, no answer. I would think the time would be a little bit more. Somebody would have checked on her a little bit before, or checked to see what's going on there. Yeah,
the person who discovered this was a maintenance person of some sort. So, I mean, they were, just happened to be, I think, scheduled in the area kind of thing. So, yeah, no, it does go say, if anything else, if you know folks of any variety and you haven't heard from them, check in on them. It's not a bad idea. It doesn't cost anything.
Okay, a couple of things. We'll wrap this up here. Can we agree this is really strange and a horrible way to go?
Oh, yeah, because it's going to be a little while before, anything else. If you Google Gene, this is going to be the first thing, and truthfully, I mean, it sounds like they had, a very happy life together for about 30 years, which is pretty incredible. So, it's over clearly for them and the dog, but, I hope that their friends and family retain all the goodness of what was and are not scarred by the funkiness of this.
And we have Randy Quaid talking about some wild Hollywood conspiracy about a 94-year-old actor that hadn't worked in 20 years. Yeah, I'm going to say he's on his own on this one. Randy Quaid, Cousin Eddie.
Yeah, Randy has become Cousin Eddie. I mean,
what would be the motivation for something sinister in regards to an actor who hadn't worked in 20 years?
Dave, I don't know.
I just don't get it. I don't
know. And I gotta tell you, I believe Gene probably was offered a couple of things in that, after Mooseport time. He just didn't find material that he liked, and so he
was done.
He was done.
He didn't want to show up. And I remember hearing an actor, I think it was Fred Willard, say, I could work, but that means I'd have to get up at 6 a.m. and do makeup and be there all day, and I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. No, it's when you have the agency to not, that is a beautiful thing.
I mean, I understand that. I understand, just like with anything, there's work involved, and you don't want to. You're at a point where you don't need it, you don't want it, you've done it, and that's it. Now, and that is just a one of those wild stories. I'm sure it'll die down as far as speculation and all that at this point, unless Randy Quaid has another news conference.
Unless he somehow his podcast gets traction.
Oh, that is the Crawfordsville Pete's Cast, and again, we'll probably I might want to do that Gene Hackman, Dan Aykroyd movie. I can't remember the name of it.
It's like Ghost Trip or something. I don't know. That's not right.
We'll look it up.
But not one of his finest couple of hours.
No. We don't know if Gregory Hines watched that one. I'm just saying. Okay. Let's see. That is the Crawfordsville Pete's Cast, and we will be back. Next up for us is Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Dave, we thank you.
All right, Dave. Mecha Godzilla and Godzilla next.
We are sponsored by BK Home Improvement, Zon's Flooring and Design Center, and Central Indiana Rubber, CIR, Power for You, 1, 2, 3. Hello, Todd. Thanks for listening to the Crawfordsville Pete's Cast, sponsored by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. I'm Dave Peach. Join us every Thursday for a new episode on Apple or Spotify. Please like, subscribe, and download the Crawfordsville Peach Cast. This podcast was produced and edited by Up There Media and is a presentation of Fork Broadcasting Digital.